younger generation that must confront the traumatic legacy of slavery while attempting to build a future beyond it. Throughout the novel, Denver develops from a lonely and shattered girl into a more
Sheltered.
mature,
Sheltered.
sheltered girl into a more mature and independent individual.
Okay, stop. So, uh, Denver is considered to be one of the most significant characters. 5 marks question can come. And she's the daughter of Seth. She represents the younger generation. And it is she who needs to fight not the slavery but the trauma of slavery. हमने ये बार बार देखा है, আমরা বারবার দেখেছি এই টেক্সটটাকে আলোচনা করার সময় যে স্লেভারি শুধু যে একটা ফিজিক্যাল একটা হিস্টোরিক্যাল ইভেন্ট হয়েছিল তাই নয়, স্লেভারির কিন্তু একটা সাইকোলজিক্যাল in the form of trauma had reverberated, had continued throughout the generations of the African American people. Even today, we read some newspapers, we read some news articles about how racism is still practiced in America, and whereas their president or their people call India and China as hell holes, but they do not look at themselves that what amount of racism, what amount of cruelty is practiced by their own people against their own people, only because some people are black, some people have a darker skin complexion. So it is upon Denver that she needs to fight, that she needs to confront the legacy of slavery, कि slaves और नहीं रहे और slave जैसा सोचना भी बंद करना पड़ेगा. The same is true with our society also. We still believe that the foreigners are better than us, foreign institutions, foreign food, foreign clothes, they are better than us, and we are still very much influenced, or we are very much impressed if a foreigner is among us. गोरा चमड़ा देखा नहीं कि हमारा जो पुराना या हमारा जो जेनरेशनल जेन्यूफ्लेक्शन है, हमारा जो जेनरेशनल आरती उतारने का आदत है फॉरेनर्स का, वो शुरू हो जाता है. एंड we would really like to go to these foreign places to spend our vacations if we have the money, and we really like those places without thinking that those places, many of those places are actually built out of our money, our sweat, our blood. Even today अमेरिका में भी अगर देखो तो ज़्यादातर जो टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप हो रहा है वहाँ पे, जिसके वजह से उनका इकोनॉमी डेवलप हो रहा है या इकोनॉमी सही से चल रहा है या वो चाँद पे पहुँच रहे हैं, इट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द इंडियन माइंड्स. मोस्ट ऑफ द साइंटिस्ट्स आर इंडियंस एंड मोर इम्पॉर्टेंटली बंगालीज. They, if they had worked in India, things would have been better for India. But since we think that no, but this is also true in India, that we do not get much opportunities because there is lots of nepotism and casteism and class differences, which does not allow us to grab the opportunity that sometimes situations provide us with. But in US there are more chances of your success if you are hardworking, if you are meritorious. In US there are more chances of your success than in India because of too much competition, too much population. Anyway, तो ये हमारे अंदर भी है, ये फॉरेनर्स को वर्शिप करना या फॉरेन कंट्रीज़ को बेटर समझना. तो इस हमारी ये जनरेशन जो है, तुम लोगों की जो जनरेशन है, इट हैज़ टू फाइट विद दैट आइडिया, it has to confront that idea just like Denver has to. So she develops from a lonely and sheltered girl like Rusty, into a more mature and independent individual. So it can also be treated as a what kind of a novel, হৃদয়? যেখানে গ্রোথ অ্যান্ড ডেভেলপমেন্ট দেখানো হচ্ছে সেখানে এটা তাহলে কি ধরনের নভেল হতে পারে?
স্যার এটা কোন একটা ক্যারেক্টার ডেভেলপমেন্ট
নামটা কি?
স্যার বিলাভেড।
আরে গাধা, the type of the novel. We have studied about it in Room on the Roof. What kind of a novel is Room on the Roof, হৃদয়? আর কেউ বলবে না?
খাতাটা
সঙ্গীতা?
কার্নি কার না সরি
ট্রাকনিভ্যালেস, কার্নিভ্যালেস নয়, ট্রাকনিভ্যালেস।
আচ্ছা কোর
তুমি রাখো তোমার নোটস। সঙ্গীতা?
স্যার বলবো?
না, তোমার নাম সঙ্গীতা কি?
না।
संगीता बोलो।
Yes, sir.
जब कोई प्रोटैगनिस्ट का बर्थ से लेकर ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट दिखाया जाता है किसी नॉवेल में, तो उस नॉवेल को एक नाम से बोलते हैं। वो नाम क्या है? रूम ऑन द रूफ में भी हमने देखा था। तुमने रूम ऑन द रूफ के क्लासेस भी किए हैं।
अगर तू अपन चाह
What was
What?
that? Yes. Tell me, संगीता।
Don't know, sir.
हैं? ओके रूपंकर बोलो।
Sir, coming of age novel
And
and Bildungsroman.
Bildungsroman, yes, Bildungsroman, Bildungsroman actually. Bildungsroman, the novel of growth and development. Bildungsroman. It shows the development of a protagonist from birth, experiences, growth, development, and sometimes death also. So, Denver's character can also be called a Bildungsroman character. Yes, Hriday.
স্যার তাহলে ওই কার্নাল রোমান এটার মানেও তো গ্রোথ অফ
কার্নাল
ডেভেলপমেন্ট।
রোমান আবার কি জিনিস?
কান হিটলার।
কান হিটলার?
আরে স্যার কান হিটলার
কান হিটলার? কার কান হিট হয়ে গেছে?
স্যার এটা লিখেছিলাম মানে উচ্চারণ করতে পারছি না এটা।
কার্নিভ্যালেস।
হ্যাঁ।
Carnivalesque is not a kind of a novel.
ওকে স্যার, তো তাহলে ওটার মানেটা একটুখানি।
তো ওটার কি তখন যখন আমি বলছিলাম তখন নাকে তেল দিয়ে ঘুমোচ্ছিলে?
সরি স্যার, তাহলে ওয়ার্ডটা লিখে রেখেছিলাম।
Sangeeta, what is carnivalesque? Have you written down the word? Yes, Sangeeta.
सर ये इसके बारे में बोलते होली का लेके ऐसे कुछ डिस्क्राइब किए थे।
हाँ, तो जब अगर कोई पूछता है तो तुम ऐसे ही बोलोगे कि होली का कुछ लेकर सर डिस्क्राइब किए थे, लेकिन मेरे को नहीं पता कार्निवालस क्या है। तुम लोग 6th सेमेस्टर में हो, यू आर एट द एडवांस्ड स्टेट ऑफ योर लर्निंग, यू शुड बी अवेयर ऑफ दीज वर्ड्स। खुशी? एंड यू
Yes,
ऑल्सो
sir.
यस। हाँ बोलो। रूपंकर?
Sir, you said that like it is the reversal in control. Mane the take the role of the controllers.
Who takes the role of the controllers?
Mm. The new generation.
The new generation. Like? As an example,
Um, Example, sir, in the cherry orchard, like when I'm forgetting the name of the servant, he is taking the control of the cherry orchard
Lopakhin.
instead of. Yes, sir, absolutely. So that concept, that is the example. Am I correct?
Not really. See, carnivalesque, just like Sangeeta was saying, that in during the Holi, what happens? The usual rules and regulations of the society break down, and you can behave in a free manner for some time. Or during the Durga Puja, we break the rules. So many rules that are imposed on us are all broken. So during the Holi in Room on the Roof also, uh, Rusty, who was supposed to be very reserved, who was supposed to be very serious, he played in the mud, he fell in the mud, he played with the boys whom his guardian had threatened not to play with. So all the when during a carnival means a fair, a mela, and in a fair or in a mela, you become fearless, you become careless about the rules and regulations. In the crowd, so many people mix, and there is hardly any rule or there is hardly any control. So it is usually the people who have no control for some time take control of the situation in an occasion, in a festival, that is called a carnivalesque. Okay, anyway, let's move to the next paragraph. Khushi.
Yes, sir. Denver grows up in the haunted house at 124 Bluestone Road with her mother. Because the house is believed to be haunted by the ghost of her dead sister, the community avoids the family. This isolation deeply affects Denver's life. She expresses her loneliness in an emotional outburst when she says, I can't live here. Nobody speaks to us. Nobody come by. Boys don't like me. Girls don't either. This statement reveals how the family past has cut her off from normal social relationships.
So since she's living in a haunted house, nobody wants to be friends with her, and this is what she expresses, that she is a growing person, and like, if you remember when you were teenagers, you wanted friends, or still since you are very young, you all want friends to hang out with, and if you cannot or if you do not, then there's a lot of pressure that comes to you. You feel lonely, you feel angry, you feel frustrated. So Denver is also facing that. So not just slavery, but also the supernatural element in the novel affects Denver's relationship with the other people in the community. So, just like any other person, she is also interested in boys. Like any other young girl, she is interested in boys, and she is very. She vents her frustration by saying that the boys don't like her, they don't talk to her, because she lives in a haunted house and she wants to move away. Similarly, young people also want to go and stay at better places, not not stay stuck in some old place. They want more facilities, they want better things in their lives. Okay, continue, Khushi.
Despite her loneliness, Denver shows sensitivity and understanding towards the supernatural presence in the house. Unlike others who fears the ghost, she attempts to interrupt its emotions. When
Interpret.
Paul
Interpret.
interpret
Hmm.
its emotions, when Paul D asks about the ghost, Denver replies that it is Rebuked, lonely
Rebuked.
and rebuked,
Rebuked means डांटना.
lonely. Okay. Lonely and rebuked. These descriptions demonstrates her empathy and imaginative and understanding.
Hmm. So Denver is a positive character. Even if she is lonely, she is sensitive and she understands the problems. So she's not afraid of the ghost. Rather, she tries to understand why is the ghost doing so, and she is actually empathetic towards the ghost. She is nice towards the ghost. Um, so she has a lot of empathy and understanding. Okay, continue.
Denver also play an important narrative role by preserving family memories. She carefully listened to the stories of her mother's past, particularly the story of her own birth. These stories help her construct an identity in a world shaped by slavery and suffering.
Hmm. So she plays a narrative role also. She listens to the stories and she preserves them. जैसा मैंने कल I think I was talking about the oral narratives yesterday or in the other class, that oral narratives was the way in which people used to memorize stories, and I was talking about that Mahabharata or Ramayana is memorized by some performers, some players, and they perform the whole thing in front of some fair or in front of some audience. So she also remembers all that has happened because there is no written history, and she acts as the role of the historian. um, so these stories are very useful because they help create an identity, a separate identity for the people, for the African American people or erstwhile slaves. Okay, continue.
As the story progresses, Denver gradually gains emotional strength. Her character symbolizes hope and renewal because she represents a generation that has the possibility of moving beyond the trauma experienced by their parents.
Hmm. Continue and then finish it.
Uh, Thus, Denver's role in Beloved is both emotional and symbolic. She represents innocence, resilience, and the possibility of healing in a world marked by painful memories.
Hmm. So, Rupankar, what is the meaning of resilience? I told you yesterday.
Um, resilience মানে কোনো স্ট্রেসকে আই মিন অ্যাডাপ্ট করে নেওয়ার যে শক্তিটা সেটা।
Yes, the ability to resist, the ability to adapt to changes. So ডেনভারের ব্যাপারে বলতে গেলে আমাদের বলতে হবে she is empathetic, she symbolizes hope because she is the new generation, and she also represents innocence, resilience, that is the ability to adapt to new things, and she also represents hope as in the healing of the healing process. যেভাবে আফ্রিকান আমেরিকানসদের সাথে ট্রিটমেন্ট করা হয়েছিল, যেভাবে আর্স্টওয়াইল স্লেভসদের সাথে ট্রিটমেন্ট করা হয়েছিল, এবং ওটার যে ট্রমেটিক ইম্প্যাক্টটা আছে এদের কমিউনিটিতে, সেইটাকে সেটার সাথে ফাইট করার জন্য অ্যাপ্রোপ্রিয়েট পারসন হচ্ছে ডেনভার, বিকজ শি ইজ ইয়াং, শি ইজ গেটিং এডুকেটেড, অ্যান্ড শি রিপ্রেজেন্টস দ্য হোপ ফর দ্য আফ্রিকান আমেরিকান কমিউনিটি। ওকে, নেক্সট হৃদয় পড়ো।
Role and character of Baby Sharks. Baby Sharks is an important maternal and spiritual figure in Beloved as Seth's mother-in-law and the grandmother of Denver. She represents the suffering and endurance of an older generation that experienced slavery directly. Her life story reveals the destructive impact of slavery on families and communities.
Okay, wait. So, if we consider Denver to be the present or the future, then uh, Baby Suggs is the representation of the past, and I believe Seth might be the representation of the present, Denver is the representation of the future, and Baby Suggs is the representation of the past, maternal, spiritual. Uh, she has faced all the problems associated with slavery directly. মানে যত বেশি এ সাফার করেছে এরকম মানে অফকোর্স সেথ অলসো সাফার্ড বাট শি সাফার্ড ফর সো লং দ্যাট ইট কাইন্ড অফ বিকেম হার হ্যাবিট ওকে আর ওর জীবনটা দিয়ে থ্রু হার লাইফ we can see how slavery destroys families and relationships. Okay, continue.
Baby Sachs has endured the loss of most of her children because of slavery. She recalls how her children were taken away or separated from her, which demonstrates the brutal reality of slave life. Reflecting on her past, she remarks, I had 8, every one of them gone away from me. The statement expresses the deep sorrow and helplessness that many enslaved mothers experienced.
So, what was the impact of tragic? What was the impact of slavery on family? আগের দিনও আমরা আলোচনা করছিলাম বা আগের ক্লাসে আগের আনসার্সে আলোচনা হয়েছে যে বাচ্চাগুলোকে কেড়ে নিয়ে চলে যাওয়া হতো, ছেলে হলে বিক্রি করে দেওয়া হতো, মেয়ে হলেও অন্যভাবে তাদেরকে ব্যবহার করা হতো, অ্যান্ড দ্যাট ইজ হোয়াট হ্যাপেন্ড টু baby Suggs, and she remembers like this that there were like 8 and all of them had gone away. So while the slave narratives have talked about the brutality of the white people on the slaves, the mothers, the women, were doubly marginalized. Marginalization is a process where a powerful community or culture methodically খুব প্ল্যান করে উইকার কমিউনিটি বা উইকার কালচারকে সব রকমের সুযোগ সুবিধা থেকে বঞ্চিত করে, সেটাকে मार्जिनलाइजेशन बोला है. जब कोई पावरफुल कम्युनिटी या पावरफुल कल्चर किसी लेस पावरफुल कल्चर या कम्युनिटी को सुख सुविधा या आगे बढ़ने के जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं उससे हटा देता है, और हटा के जैसे कागज़ किसी पेपर का मार्जिन होता है, मार्जिन इज़ ऑन द फ्रिंजेस, ऑन द साइड्स, नॉट इन द सेंटर, उसके ऊपर अटेंशन नहीं रहता है. Nobody pays much attention to the fringes or the sides. They are more interested in the middle. So in the same manner, while the slaves, the African Americans, were marginal, were weak, were poor, but even among them, even among their margins, there was another margin, that is that of the women, especially mothers. उनके बारे में ज़्यादा बात हुआ नहीं. So Baby Suggs is a exception. Okay, continue.
Despite her painful past, Baby Sachs becomes a respected spiritual leader in the black community after gaining freedom. She encourages people to value themselves and to heal from the psychological damage of slavery. Her role as a preacher like figure provides emotional support to the community.
So it is not that they cannot heal or they do not heal at all. Even after gaining freedom, she became a kind of a spiritual leader for the black community. that's good. Instead of becoming, instead of always playing the victim card that, I am poor and I have been a slave. They beat me. They She's actually trying to find something new. She's trying to find some idea of something better that can be done. So that's a positive thing about her. Okay, continue.
However, the trauma of slavery ultimately leads to her emotional exhaustion after witnessing the violence inflicted upon her family. She withdraws from society and loses interest in life.
Loses.
The no- uses loses interest in life. The novel describes her final days with quite
Hmm?
sadness,
Quiet.
quiet sadness, em- emphasizing that baby Sachs died shortly after the brother left.
হুম। সো যদিও সে একটা মানে বেটার পজিশন বা বেটার একটা সিচুয়েশন ক্রিয়েট করতে পেরেছিল নিজের জন্য, she became the spiritual leader and she tried to lead the people into the right direction, yet the exhaustion, the pain, the trauma actually took its toll, and she lost interest in life, and ultimately after the brothers, that is the two sons, left because of the haunting of the house, she died. Okay, continue.
Baby Sachs therefore represents both strength and
Vulnerability.
vulnerability. She embodies the resilience of enslaved people who struggled to maintain dignity and faith despite immense suffering.
Hmm. Conclude it. পরেরটাও পড়ে নাও।
In conclusion, Baby Sachs plays a crucial role in the novel as a symbol of maternal love, spiritual leadership, and historical memory. Her life illustrates how slavery destroys families while also revealing the emotional strength required to survive such oppression.
হুম। সো বেবি সাগসের ক্যারেক্টারটা ইন্টারেস্টিং এই জন্য কারণ স্ট্রেংথ যেমন আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি, তেমনি ভালনারেবিলিটি মিন্স দ্য পসিবিলিটি অফ গেটিং অ্যাফেক্টেড বাই সামথিং। যেমন ধরো এটা কোনো হাত বা কোথাও একটা কেটে গেছে, একটা উন্ড হয়েছে, একটা ঘা হয়েছে, তো সেখানে ইনফেকশন হয়ে যাওয়ার পসিবিলিটিটাকে ভালনারেবিলিটি বলা যেতে পারে। তেমনি আমরা আমরা অনেকেই বিভিন্ন জিনিসে ভালনারেবল হই। কেউ আমরা ভয় পাই কোনো জিনিসকে, বা কোনো জিনিসকে ঘেন্না পাই। সো উই আর ভালনারেবল টু দ্য ফোর্সেস অফ নেচার, উই আর ভালনারেবল টু দ্য ফোর্সেস দ্যাট আর চেঞ্জিং দ্য সোসাইটি অর দ্য চেঞ্জিং সোসাইটি ইটসেলফ। তো এরকমই ভালনারেবিলিটি বেবি সাগসের মধ্যেও ছিল, যদিও শি ওয়াজ আ স্ট্রং পার্সন, অ্যান্ড হার লাইফ থ্রু হার ক্যারেক্টার, Morrison is trying to Morrison is trying to show how the slavery and the problems associated with it destroy or create various types of characteristics among people. Okay, next is Beloved's Name. Sangeeta, read it.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
The significance of beloved name is closely connected with the tragic history of Seti's family and the emotional consequence of slavery. The name originated from the word engraved on the tombstone of Seti's dead daughter, who later returned in supernatural form.
Hmm. So this is the title of the play, Beloved. And what is the significance? What is the title about? It is about the tragic history of Seth's family and its emotional consequence. Um, সেথ নিজের মেয়েকে মেরে যেখানে পুঁতে দিয়েছিল সেইখানে জাস্ট এইটুকু লেখা ছিল বিলাভেড। তো ওই নামটা নিয়েই এই ক্যারেক্টারটা একটা সুপার ন্যাচারাল ক্যারেক্টার, ভূত বলা যেতে পারে বা সুপার ন্যাচারাল ক্যারেক্টার বলা যেতে পারে, সে আবার ফেরত আসে। ইট ইজ লাইক দ্য হন্টিং, লাইক it is the consequences of one's action. It is the trauma of slavery that has taken the form of beloved and has come back. And yet the name is ironically beloved. Beloved মানে loved, lover মানে যাকে আমরা ভালোবাসি, যার প্রতি আমাদের ভালোবাসা থাকে। ওকে, কন্টিনিউ।
After the child's death, Seti is unable to afford a proper inscription for the grave. Instead, she negotiates with a gravestone engraver and chooses a single word to represent the child's memory. The novel describes how the inscription was created. What she got was the one word that mattered. The word was beloved.
So it also shows the poverty of the people. She did not have enough money even to write something on the gravestone of her own daughter, and she begged an engraver, and she could only afford a single word which signified her relationship or her feelings towards her dead child, that is beloved. Okay, continue.
The name reflects both love and grief. It comes from the traditional Christian funeral phrase, dearly beloved, which is often used in rural service.
Burial.
However,
Burial services.
burial
Burial.
service, burial
Burial, हाँ, burial services.
इसका माने है
ब्यूरियल मतलब वो क्रिश्चियन लोग जो अपने उनके जो मर जाते हैं वो लोग उनको दफना देते हैं, तो उसको उस सर्विस को मतलब जो ये करते हैं उसको फ्यूनरल मतलब जनाजे का ही एक पार्ट माना जाता है। जैसे मुस्लिम भी दफना देते हैं, तो जो दफनाते हैं या दफनाने में जो रिचुअल्स होते हैं जैसे मिट्टी डालना और कॉफिन को अंदर रखना, उसके ऊपर मिट्टी डाल देना, इन सब चीज़ों को ब्यूरियल कहते हैं, burying of the dead.
However, because Seti can only afford one word, the incomplete inscription symbolizes the incomplete life of the child as well as the limitations imposed by poverty and slavery.
So the second part is already covered, but the first part of the paragraph tells that it is a paradoxical name. You might be knowing about the paradox. It's a figure of speech where two opposite ideas are put in the same place. Why is it paradoxical or ironical? Because जब दफनाते हैं लोगों को तो उसको दफनाने के पहले या फ्यूनरल जो स्पीच होता है, जो फ्रेज होता है, उसको कहते हैं डियरली बिलवेड, बहुत प्यारा इंसान जिसको दफना दिया गया है। मरने के बाद सभी प्यारे ही हो जाते हैं, तो बट दैट इज़ अ डिफरेंट थिंग। बट इन दिस केस it's a maternal love, and a tragedy is involved in here. So the incompleteness of the child's life reflects the incompleteness of the title, the name. सिर्फ बिलवेड एक ही वर्ड, उसके पास इतना ही पैसे थे या इतना ही वो मांग पाई उस एनग्रेवर से जो पत्थर पे खुदाई करते हैं कि बस तुम बिलवेड लिख दो, एंड ही जस्ट wrote that. It shows poverty, it shows the incompleteness of the mother's maternal love. लेकिन जब वो वापस आती है in the supernatural form, then it creates trouble also. So the beloved, जैसा मैं पहले भी बोल रहा था, I have been saying this again and again, that in case of beloved the love turns into venom, poison. प्यार करना अच्छी बात है, लेकिन अगर वो प्यार ट्विस्टेड हो जाए तो उससे बुरा और कुछ नहीं हो सकता। That is what the beloved is also trying to signify. Okay, continue.
The naming also emphasized the intense emotional bond between Sethi and her daughter. By choosing the word beloved, Sethi expressed the depth of her maternal love even in the face of tragedy. The name therefore became a powerful symbol and remembrance and mourning.
Hmm. So again, this is the beloved. um though the beloved is a noun, but the ed at the end of the noun can make us think that it is a thing of past, um, and it's a and thus it becomes a powerful symbol of what? Remembrance and mourning. Mourning means to cry for the death or absence of some people. Okay, continue.
At the same time, the name takes on a supernatural significance when the spirit of the dead child appears in physical form. The mysterious young woman who calls herself beloved seems to embody the memory of the murdered daughter
Murdered.
and the unresolved
Murdered
murdered
daughter.
daughter,
Hmm.
murdered daughter,
Hmm.
and the unresolved trauma associated with her death.
Hmm. So supernatural. We talked about the supernatural thing because the woman is mysterious. अचानक से आ जाती है. जैसे नो भूत ईमेल करके तो आएगा नहीं, या व्हाट्सएप में मैसेज भी नहीं करेगा कि भूत आ रहा है. Similarly, this person appears out of nowhere, and with the name which people have forgotten that was written on the grave. So there's a direct connection, but most of the people do not recognize this. Only Paul D had been saying this to Seth, that I found that she could do something which she was not supposed to do. उसने she beloved, when she came in, she tried to show that she was very weak. देखना, जो लोग तुम्हारा नुकसान करने के लिए तुम्हारे पास आते हैं, वो अपना दुखड़ा लेकर आते हैं बहुत टाइम, कि उसको उसको उसके फैमिली या फिर उसका बॉयफ्रेंड या उसका गर्लफ्रेंड टॉक्सिक था या थी, एंड ही हैज़ और शी हैज़ अ लॉट ऑफ ट्रॉमा, एंड you feel pity for that person and you accept that person as your own. The same was done by beloved. So she, and then she became a parasite. जैसा दिन बीतने लगा, যেমন যেমন দিন কাটতে লাগলো, দেখা গেল যে she is actually sucking the strength of Seth. Seth was becoming weaker and she was becoming stronger, fatter. Okay, read the last two paragraphs, Sangeeta.
Thus, the name beloved carries multiple meanings in the novel. It represents love, memory, grief, and the haunting presence of the past. In conclusion, beloved's name is deeply symbolic. It connects the supernatural elements of the story with the emotional and historical experience of slavery, reminding readers that the past continues to shape the present.
Hmm. So, beloved's name represents so many things: supernatural elements, ghosts, past, death, tragedy. But something positive is also there, that is love, unadulterated love, मिलावट विहीन प्यार. So all of these things and represent, give a lot of meaning to that particular name or to that particular character. এই কোয়েশ্চেনটাই আসবে ক্যারেক্টারের থেকেও যদি আসে, ক্যারেক্টার যদি বলে যে বিলাভেডের ক্যারেক্টারের ব্যাপারে বলো, এই সবগুলোই তোমরা লিখো, বা যদি টাইটেলের ওপরে আসে তাহলে এখান থেকে লিখতে পারো আর কি। ওকে, লেট আস স্টপ হিয়ার টুডে। এনি কোয়েশ্চেন্স, এনি ডাউটস?